I've been a troublemaker, I've been a lean-up player. I've been broke as a joke, I've been a money maker. I've been a record breaker, taking credit as an educator. I've been known to spit the flows and make a shaky, shaky thing. Popping, lock, and stop and let it hang. Watch us as we drop this hip-hop, it's like it stings. We make the whole room drop and everybody sing. We want the funk, we gotta have that funk. We kick it old school, we think we're so cool. We take it back to the past, we gonna act a fool. Up jumps the middle finger, make my Jaeger just a little.
Are we actually live now? All right, hello. Welcome to Sports Buzz, a Fanatical View. I am your host, Scott D. Lewis, here live in studio, Comcast Cable, Channel 23, downtown Danbury, Connecticut, on this July 25th. Testing out the new updated system. Once again, the system gets updated, and I think we are the first show to go live since that, and we had a little technical difficulty to get it off and running, but I think they figured it out. So we're here. We're live. We're ready to roll. Phone number is 203-792-4101 if you want to get in on this madness that is our show, and give us a call, see what's going on, and chime in on anything you want to talk about. My right-hand man, Mr. Bob Raw Jr., is not here tonight. He's down at Rogers Park checking out the Danbury Westerners this evening as they celebrate the 25th anniversary of the team, its existence, the oldest team, as a matter of fact, in the NECBL, and they're celebrating that tonight. Got a very nice night, beautiful weather out there, so I'm sure he'll be having a good time. We'll talk about the Westerners in a second. I did want to mention last week we talked about how the AC Connecticut U13 soccer club from the Premier League Soccer had won the Connecticut Cup, featuring my good friend Joe Jet Net, sometime caller to the show. His son Andreas was on that team, and they went out to Colorado because they qualified by winning the Connecticut Cup earlier in the year, and they went to play in the championship tournament out in Commerce City, Colorado, the U.S. Soccer National Cup 18. And guess what? First they beat California, then they beat North Carolina. That clinched them into the semis. Then they beat a team from Arkansas, which gave them the top seeding into that semi. Then they beat New Hampshire in the semi to make it to the final. And what do you have here? The AC Connecticut U13 team went on and won the national championship 2-1, beating another team from Arkansas that was undefeated in this tournament. And Joe's son, Andreas Shabu, got the game winner in that 2-1 match. When they were tied 1-1, Arkansas did draw a penalty, and the goalkeeper had to come up with a big save on the penalty kick, which set up the game winner for Andreas. So they were just absolutely thrilled. History in the making for these young kids, and they did a great job out of this National Premier League's club soccer teams and tournament and league. And they made the most of that trip, I'll tell you that much. And I know their family, all the families, are just thrilled beyond words. So we wanted to tip our cap to them and say congratulations. And how about that? Andreas, I believe, scored a goal in every one of the games, and he got the game winner in the final. So couldn't have been more thrilled about that, and really happy for him and the team. So wanted to make mention of that. Since we're talking soccer, maybe I'll do a quick thing on the MLS. We haven't talked much about them. I'm just going to run through this quick. We mentioned, a couple times in recent weeks that the New England Revolution, whose season was dead and buried early in the year, fired their coach and hired longtime United States national team coach Bruce Arena to be the new man. And they have now gone on a 10-match unbeaten streak since then, which has pulled them into a playoff position. They are now tied for the final playoff spot with the Montreal Impact with 30 points. Only 2 points out behind NYCFC, who's in fifth. NYCFC, as a matter of fact, plays tonight against Sporting KC. Fourth is the Red Bulls at 34. DC United at 35. Defending champion Atlanta United FC. And speaking of the United States Soccer. I think that's Howard, Tim Howard there for Colorado in the game against NYCFC the other night. I did not realize he was still playing. Atlanta United FC at 36 and the Philadelphia Union at 39. So that's our soccer. I believe we have a call. I'm going to take that. Hello, this is Sports Buzz. You are live and on the air.
Hey, Scotty. How are you?
Pretty good. Is this our good friend Strange Man?
Yes. You know, I can't believe that it's been 4,032 hours since I've been in the studio last time.
When was that? Right after the Patriots' victory, I would imagine.
Yep. So, congratulations. You made it to show 290.
290. 10 away from 300. The countdown begins.
Yeah, I'll have to get down there.
That'll be a big one.
So listen, I'll let you talk. I'm on talking restriction. I did want to ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
Did you figure out what happened last night at Trop?
So it seems like they have a pretty legitimate. I mean, Alex Cora wouldn't go too much into the details in his press conference, but he felt like he thought they were in the right and the Rays were in the wrong. Not necessarily for the fact that they moved a pitcher to first base and then moved that pitcher back to the pitching mound. I don't think I've ever seen that. But I guess that is within the rules. The problem was they did it while still maintaining the DH in the batting order, which once the pitcher moves to a position in the field, the DH is removed, and their substitutions did not do that. So they protested.
Yeah, it was like 14 minutes, 15, 16 minutes delay.
I had that part of the game on in the radio, and the guy calling the game said it's been 30 minutes and we've only seen 8 pitches thrown. So when it started, there was a delay, then there was another delay, and then they finally got things going. But 30 minutes, 8 pitches. That's a long delay. But do you know what other protests, famous protests, took place on that day in history yesterday, as a matter of fact?
No, I don't. What happened? What was it?
I've got 2 words for you. Pine tar.
Oh, yeah. I remember. I now remember that Joe mentioned something about that.
George Brett, pine tar, and they did overturn that one eventually. Remember, they won that protest.
You know who was behind the plate last night, right?
Oh, was it Angel Hernandez?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
So, but think about like last night. It was kind of strange because Dave has such a good record down there, but I think he was just outpitched. What do you think?
David Price? Well, yeah, it was a tight game, 3-2. You were hoping that we could get the sweep. You were hoping he would have a lights-out game. For some reason, the controversy that was from 2 years ago with David Eckersley is back on the Dennis Eckersley, is back on the table with the media in Boston. So he got bombed the night his last start after it heated up again with this controversy. He pitched better yesterday, but didn't get a win after they had taken the first 2 in Tampa. So I don't know. He did get outpitched, I guess, yesterday.
Hey, if there's any St. Louis fans out there, I do have something. I think it was last Thursday. Joe said that Ernie Rolio passed on, and the unique thing about him is he won 20 games, and then he was traded for Lou Brock. So if there's anybody that wants to get on the internet and check him out, Joe said he passed. So
how about St. Louis?
I didn't get a chance to research him, but I will.
Speaking of, hold on there, Strange Man. Strange Man.
Upcoming series in tonight, and then I'll hang up.
Wait, hold on a sec. Hold on. St. Louis, speaking of them, how about the fact that they've moved into a tie for first place with the Cubs? They were really basically a 500 team for a while, and now they're 55-47, 8-2 in their last 10, winners of 5 straight, and they are now tied with the Cubbies. Interesting.
Yeah, you know who's the closer now for the Cubs?
Well, Craig Kimbrell, has he pitched much yet, or are they still working him out since they signed him?
I'm not sure. I know he's pitched, but he is the closer now for the Cubbies.
So the Cards have moved past the Brewers and pulled even with the Cubs. We should have a closer. Do you think we're going to get one? The trade deadline's in 5 days. The guy we picked up from Baltimore, the starter, who's gotten rocked 2 straight. So that hasn't worked out too well.
I'm kind of superstitious. Think about the pitcher we got from Baltimore.
Yeah.
He's pitched twice now, right?
Yep.
And do you know when that was announced? What day it was?
Was it on the 13th?
Yeah, you got it, pal.
I know your superstitions well.
So what do you think about the series, man? I mean, what are we still 2 games out of the second wild card?
Yeah, so the A's at 58 and 45, Red Sox at 56 and 47. The Rays right in front of us, 58 and 47. Cleveland I think, has the best record in baseball since the beginning of June. They're pulling away and catching Minnesota. They're 59 and 42. So we're 5 behind Cleveland, 2 behind the A's, 1 behind the Rays. The Yankees 6 and 1 against the Red Sox this year. That includes 2 short series, one a rain-shortened one in the Bronx, that 2-game series in London, which counted as 2 home games for the Red Sox. But this, late July, first time we were seeing them in Fenway, the Yankees have lost 10 out of the last 14 games at Fenway Park. So, maybe. But the problem is the Red Sox are below 500 at home this year, 24 and 25. They have the best record on the road at 32 and 22.
Yeah, and I was looking up something else. It was like, I think the only team in Major League Baseball with 5 pinch-hit home runs and those came 7th inning, beyond. So the bats are there. I just hope that the situation is where David goes into a slump, and then, you got Chris. Now he's pitching pretty good. It's been strange. I mean, we can't get everybody on the same page with the pitching this year. What do you think?
Very, very inconsistent. One starter gets a little hot, and then maybe the bullpen blows it, or then he has a bad outing, and the bats come alive, and they don't score enough runs, or they do, and he gives up too many runs. It's been the same way with basically all the pitchers. Eduardo Rodriguez has probably been the most consistent. I think he's got 13 wins, but Chris Sale's been mostly good lately. He did have 1 bad start not that long ago. Price had been doing pretty good, but not going too deep in games. Porcello pitches tonight against Tanaka. Porcello's ERA, I think, is over 5. That's not good. So just inconsistent. And I think, when your bullpen is a question mark, it puts a lot of extra pressure on the starters. And it's just not good. I think it all starts from the back end down, and they don't have a closer, and it screws up everything in the entire pitching staff.
Yeah, I want to tell something to the Yankee people out there, because I know a lot of people watch our show. We're pretty popular around this area, including the New York market. Tanaka, he put off Tommy John for a long time. I think over in Japan they use a different ball. I think it might be smaller, more stickier, but they recommended him for Tommy John, but he went past it, and he's been able to get around Tommy John. So
yeah, he really has, and that's been a couple of years.
He went through therapy with, and he's still a great pitcher, Tanaka, no doubt about it.
His ERA is just a little bit above 4. And he's prone to the long ball. We saw CeCe give up 5 home runs against the Twins in that first game of that series, but then the Yankees came right back and had 2 slugfest victories in Minnesota. How about the fact that Minnesota leads the league in home runs? They are top everybody in this home run crazy baseball season with the most home runs by anybody, but they lost 10-7 last night and 14-12. To the Yankees. I don't personally care for those kind of baseball games. I don't find them all that compelling. When it's just guys jacking it out of the park, 14-12 is not a good baseball game as far as I'm concerned. But I don't know. That's what's going on in the game right now. And the Yankees come in at 66 and 35. The Yankees have played a home-heavy season so far, and now they're getting to have to make up some of those games that they've, haven't had as many games on the road. So we'll see. They got the first 2 out of 3 on the road on this trip right now. 4 in Boston this weekend.
Okay, well, so we'll see. What happens up at in front of the Fenway faithful, and hopefully we can gain some ground on the baby Bronx Bums.
Maybe. I don't know. They're pretty far away.
I'll let you go, and everybody take care and stay cool, all right? Strange Man over and out.
All right. That's Strange Man with a nice little baseball chat for us. So that's good. I don't know. Yeah, I think that's hung up. Since we're talking Major League Baseball, let's just finish that story up. The Mets won today 4-0 against the Padres. They scored 4 runs in the first. DeGrom went 7 shutout innings, and they did get that victory. They still find themselves at 47-55. They had a pretty interesting weekend in San Francisco, although they were on the short end of a couple walk-offs. There we saw Cano hitting one of his 3 home runs in a game the other day. That was like, he's only got 9 on the season, and he got 3 in one game. Not what the Mets probably were hoping for this year with him, but if that gets him going, maybe that'll help. But they did lose a couple walk-off games, including a walk-off home run by Yastrzemski. Carl Yastrzemski's, I believe it's his son. I'm not sure. It might be his nephew. I'm not sure, actually. I should know that. But for San Francisco, drilled one in extra innings against the Mets the other night to win it. And there we see the smooth stroke, looking like the one of my all-time favorite players of all time, Carl Yastrzemski. So the Mets, the big question is, are they going to sell as this trade deadline looms? 47-55, they're probably not going to be catching anybody. The Braves at 60-43, Nationals winners of 3 straight. They were playing today. I didn't get the score on that, but they're 55-46. They are a very hot team, and they had Scherzer come back from injury today as they played the Rockies. Philadelphia winners of 3 straight. They've kind of righted their ship recently, 54-48. Those are the 2 wildcard teams right now, Nationals and Phillies. So you could get 3 teams in from the NL East. We mentioned the Cubs and Cards tied. Brewers behind them 54-50. Dodgers 67-37. Diamondbacks and Giants, who now are 8-2, really getting their season in gear because they were below 500, way below, but now they find themselves at 52-51. In the American League, we mentioned the Yankees and Red Sox go on tonight as the Mr. Suero chimes in with the 10-minute warning.
It's not Mr. Suero, it's Darkness.
Darkness with the voice over the loudspeaker. So we mentioned the Yankees and Red Sox. Tampa Bay. The Red Sox were a little bit excited to be 10 games over 500. Reached that was their high water mark and be in second place for a day before losing that protested game yesterday against the Rays to fall back behind them. Yankees 38-17 at home, 28-18 on the road. Red Sox, unbelievable, 24-25 at home, 32-22 on the road. So the Twins, who just lost 2 out of 3 to the Yankees at 61-40. The Tribe, Cleveland, also completely red hot, 59-42. And I think they have the best record since the beginning of June. Houston, 66-38. Oakland ahead of the Red Sox for the wild card, second wild card, 58-45. Angels, who just took 2 straight from the Dodgers, 54-49. Texas hanging around 500 at 51-51. So the trade deadline is in 5 days. Red Sox need a closer. Will they make the move and go out and get one? I saw they were interested in the Jays closer, but I haven't heard much since that. A few days ago, Tim Kirchin on the broadcast the other night against Tampa Bay said he didn't think they were going to do much more than the move they already made, getting the starter from Baltimore. I'm like, you kidding me? They need a closer. They have to go out and get one. No ifs, ands, buts about it. If they don't, the season is over. Forget it. Hang up the cleats and go home. Why bother playing? All right, so that's our baseball. We will mention the Westerners at 17-18. They've won 2 straight, hanging on for dear life, including beating Mystic in a thrilling 8-7 game 2 nights ago. Ocean State they beat in the last game 7-6. They've had a bunch of rain out since we were here last, so they got a bunch of rain out games to make up. I think I couldn't really tell. The schedule was a little iffy online. Looked like they're on the road for 3 straight and then home for 3 straight to finish. But they're a game behind Mystic for the final spot in the playoffs. So, and they have 2 left with them. So they're going to have a chance. And Mystic, I think, is 2-7-1, I do believe, or 2-8 or something like that in their last 10. So Mystic not playing well, giving Danbury a chance, and it is the 25th anniversary of the team. Tonight, celebration at Rogers Park. So that's where our boy Bob is. And I think Bob had a big day today because he was down at the unveiling of Uncle Sam in downtown Danbury this afternoon. I'll have to look for some pictures of that for next week. But they are home against Sanford, who's a team that's 14-24 from the opposing division. So they better win tonight to get back to 500 and give themselves a real chance. Newport Gulls at 20-15 and Martha's Vineyard Sharks at 23-13 are the 2 top teams in the Westerners division, with Mystic right in front of them at 18-17. All right, British Open was this past weekend, and once again we see a high number winning a Grand Slam major championship. Minus 15 for the local Northern Ireland boy Shane Lowry gets it done. I believe his first ever major championship, and he did it at Royal Portrush. Big time moment for him, and he really pulled away. Tommy Fleetwood had a chance to cut it to 3 with about 6-7 holes to go, but then he double bogeyed, and it ended up, he came in second at -9. Brooks Koepka finished 4th at -6. Koepka became one of only a few players ever to finish top 5 in all 4 majors in one season. Great year by Koepka, but he didn't come up with the goods. And it was all Shane Lowry, who put up a 63 on Saturday. And he then held on down the stretch and pulled away and got the big celebratory walk up the course there for the finish in Northern Ireland. Rory McIlroy was the story coming in. That's who everybody had their eye on. He had that terrible first round where he triple bogeyed the first, and I think he triple bogeyed or something like that the last. -7 or something like that on the first and last holes on day 1 to go +8. And then he rallied and ended up going -6 on day 2, but came up 1 stroke shy of missing the cut. So he did end up missing the cut, but another Northern Ireland man, Shane Lowry, stole the thunder. And Tiger and Phil both missed the cut as well. So that was that. And that is also that for golf. Condensed season, first time. PGA Championship is usually after this, but they went major in April, May, June, and July, and it's all over. By mid-July, we are done with the major championships for golf. I personally didn't like it. I thought they came on too fast and furious. Wasn't really ready each time, was not into it. But they did that, and that's the way it is. So, you know, we have no more golf, which I guess doesn't bother me all that much because we won't really have to talk about it anymore, and we're all done with it. All right, only a few minutes left. Tour de France, 2 more climbs left in the mountains, and a Frenchman still leads atop the standings, holding the yellow jersey for the 13th straight day, Julian Alaphilippe. And the last 2 days, the articles being written about the Tour de France have all been saying he was going to fade. It looked like he was running out of steam on Sunday and Monday. He had no chance to hold on to the yellow jersey as they went into the mountains. The climbers were going to overtake him. And now here we are, a couple of these stages in, and he still has the lead. And the defending champion from Wales, Geraint Thomas, is in 3rd with 135 left. And we got Mike, the Met Maniac shows up for the final countdown. How about that? Battled traffic, What a trooper. And it looks like he is exhausted. But anyways, Geraint Thomas is at 135. The Colombian Egan Bernal jumped into second from 5th place. And he went from 2 minutes and 2 seconds to 1 minute and 30 second out. So there is a lot to go with 2 more climbs through the mountains. But it'll be thrilling if Frenchman can get it. First time since 1985, Bernard Hinault had won then his last of 5. The tour started in 1903, and France won 36 titles between that time and 1985, but it has been a long drought for them since. They do have the most of anybody. Belgium, as a matter of fact, has the second most at 18. Spain has won 12, 10 of them coming since 1988. Italy 10, Luxembourg surprising with 5, Switzerland and the Netherlands have 2, Ireland, Denmark, Germany, and Australia 1. Great Britain has won 6 since 2012. United States, of course, has 10, but 7 of those come from Lance Armstrong, and those have been scratched from the books because of his doping. So I guess that means the United States really only has 3. So interesting stuff going on with the Tour de France in the final stages. It'll be done by the weekend, and we'll see what happens in the next 2 days in the mountains if the Frenchman Julien Alaphilippe can hold on to that. I think I just like saying his name. Nice to see you there, Mike. Thanks for showing up. Are we out of time? We are out of time. Take care.